Well, should we start on?
Krishnaji, could we talk some more about thinking together? I'm not clear exactly what it means.
The relationship that perhaps we could talk about affection.
About
affection.
affection.
Because the affection one normally knows is very limited. It's only for a few people, and one wonders whether there is an affection that is not limited.
What makes us not think together? Say, for instance, I want to go and demonstrate. I'm not peaceful, because to be at peace with oneself and with the world requires an extraordinary sense of intelligence and a way of life, actual daily living. But I'm not all that, but I want to demonstrate against the nuclear business. Would you all agree to that?
To your going and demonstrating.
I want to demonstrate. Would you all agree to that?
I don't think so.
I'm just, thinking together. I want to find out what it means to think together. I know what it means to me. I want to find out what you mean by thinking together. To think together.
Krishnaji, obviously I can't stop you.
No, of
if
course.
You want to go.
No, I said, I took that as an example. Do you and I see the importance of demonstration? Or writing letters to the newspapers, which comes to the same thing. Only this more vocal, more demonstrative. If 250,000 people wrote letters to the newspapers every day, it would have as much effect as demonstration.
Probably a better.
Sorry, busted. David or Baruch, the plumber thinks there's a broken pipe. What looks like my ball from an office side. Pluck it out.
Or take something else which is more. All right. When we all met on Sunday, one of the students said cynically, "Oh, they never live up to what you're talking about." Now, you must have heard all that. What is the cause of that statement?
Who never live up? We, the staff.
Yes.
The staff, they're talking about the staff.
Yes. Oh, they talk about it, but they never live up to it. What is the cause of that? Could we agree to the cause?
Because of their saying so.
Huh?
Because of their saying that.
Yeah.
It
The
seems-
cause of their saying.
Yes, it seems to be that they see us acting in confusion.
So, do we all agree to that?
Yes.
Yes?
Well, I'm not sure, Krishnaji. If it's an old student,
No, it doesn't matter who's.
I think it does, because
No, it
if it does, if it's a new student, I wonder whether it's something they're carrying from their past experience and saying, oh, they're not working together.
Or the old student has already corrupted the new one.
That, yes. So it could either be a correct perception of how we are, or they're thinking of something, remembering something that's happened in the past.
Yes, yes.
But it is a fact that they see that our behavior is contradictory. It is a fact that they see that.
Now, do we all see that together?
Is our behavior contradictory?
I think it is.
What's contradictory?
Well, we think one thing and say one thing and do a third thing.
Well, what are these things then?
As members of staff of the Krishnamurti school, we represent Krishnamurti's teaching. But are we being it? That's the contradiction.
We are going off immediately. Look, sir, one of the students, doesn't matter for what reason, says, no, you are not, etc., etc. Do we all want to find the cause of it? And if we do find the cause of it, are we all of one mind?
I'm sure
All right.
we're all very concerned to find the cause, Krishna.
Huh?
I'm sure we are all very concerned to find the cause of that.
We are concerned to find the cause.
All right. I say one thing and do something else, contrary to what I say. And the student listens to that and he says, you're a hypocrite to me. And I want to find out why I am a hypocrite. Why I say one thing or think one thing and do another. Why? Help me, please, help me.
So, but before this happens, when a student says to me,
I'm saying
Yes.
me,
Well,
forget the student.
yes, I become defensive. I immediately say, well, I'm not like that.
What's the cause of all this?
Krishnaji, I'm sure none of us would deliberately and willfully say one thing and do something else. Well, obviously, we couldn't be aware of it. We're not aware of it, we're doing that. If we were aware of it, we wouldn't do it.
So, the cause is unawareness.
Yes.
Huh? Do we agree to that?
I think another cause could be that we have also a model.
You are a member of the staff?
Yes.
I think so.
Huh?
Yes.
What are you saying, sir?
Another cause could be that we have a model about
Yes, we have a model, we have an idea that it should be that way, and because I don't fit into it, they say you are a hypocrite.
Yes.
Now, why am I a hypocrite? What's the cause of it?
Surely no one is going to be deliberately a hypocrite.
Huh?
Surely no one is going to be deliberately a hypocrite.
All right, we said we are not aware of it. Why?
I think one has to look at the whole question, whether is the remark first made a remark made in awareness or not? It may not have been, in which case it's no good. I think one of the difficulties is that being very close and very open to criticism, people react, as Shaku said, somewhat defensively, and then from that they tend to react negatively and feel that they can't do any of this, and so it goes on.
So what shall we do?
Well, I think one has to meet that criticism at the moment when it arises.
All right.
It may be a direct perception, in which case one should investigate it. It may not be a direct perception at all.
That statement has been made. How do we meet it?
Well, it depends on the quality of the statement.
We said the quality of...
You heard it.
Yeah, I heard it, but I'm not convinced by it. I don't think that I'm not sure that it was a statement made in awareness. You can use the same words, but unless it's coming out of something that is a perception, then you might as well ignore it.
What's that?
Should our first step be to doubt the student's statement?
What?
Should our first step be to doubt the student's statement or to doubt ourselves?
No, the first step is not to base what you're doing on statements.
You have to go into it.
See, I'm not so sure that this is so, that we are so unaware of it when we do this. And for instance, if we see the value of giving up opinions and having no opinions, and yet we maintain them, we don't seem to really want to give them up.
So we're trying to find out if it is possible to think together.
Yes.
Forget this. Why can't we think together? What's it preventing us? We have lived here for 10 years. We've seen all the ups and downs and the difficulties, etc., etc. Why can't we think together?
Well, opinion seems to be one thing that prevents us.
What is the reason, sir? What's the cause of all this?
Well, Krishnamurti, I think another thing is that we're all different personalities here, and therefore we have different perspectives on things. One looks at something in one way and another looks at something in a different way. Now, I don't see there's any problem in that, as long as there's mutual listening. But I think our tendency is we get locked into looking at something in a particular way, and then we don't move.
So what does that mean? I'm locked. I'm locked in my prejudice, right? In my conclusion, right? And I won't move from it. Why?
Well, I think a lot of these prejudices that we have a deeper base.
Go on, say, examine it, and get rid of the damn thing, not...
Yes, I think it takes quite a lot of hard work and discussion with you, whether you like it or not,
all right,
for us to come aware of what these
let's
deeper,
do it.
Deeper,
Let's do it. Let us see.
See, Krishnamurti, one of the things I think that many of us get stuck in, and I think it's a difficult one, and that is that, you know, many of us have been here for quite a long time, and I feel we're all serious in one way or another, and we've been trying to grapple with this problem, and we get to a point where we think, well, I've been doing this for so many years, I'm still the same person, I'm still stuck there, and therefore I'm incapable. I think this is quite a deep...
I think the capacity doesn't come from that.
Well, I don't know where capacity does come from.
Let's go step by step and wipe it out each step, shall we?
Well, we can try.
Not try.
Give it a chance.
Huh?
I was telling you to give it a chance.
John.
All right. Yes.
Is it a problem, or is the difficulty that whenever we meet, whether it's with you or whether it's just as a staff or even with the students, we don't, it seems to me, I'm not sure that we don't inquire, we always make statements. positive statements in one way or another, and so you finish up with 20 different statements. They're all slightly different, and we don't seem to know how to inquire into something together.
If that is so, let's try now. Why can't we think together? You say we are different personalities, different opinions, different judgments, different conclusions. We are stuck in a certain point, we won't let go. Is that so? Brian Jenkins makes that statement. I want to find out if it is so. Am I or you stuck? Or our judgments are so strong, not stuck. We are changing our judgments. You see? We are changing our opinions, we are changing our conclusions, modifying it, but always holding on to those. Is that the reason? That we are incapable of thinking together of any problem, of any issue. Would you discuss with me?
It seems to be that, sir. But why do we hold on to these things?
Wait. First, let us see if that is so.
So, when you say agreeing, thinking together, do you mean agreeing together?
Beg pardon?
When you say thinking together, do you mean agreeing together?
No. Is that so? A fact.
What?
A fact that I am stuck. Jenkins points out, I'm stuck in a particular conclusion. I won't let that go. I won't let go of my opinions. And therefore I'm incapable of thinking together.
Which means agreeing together.
No, thinking is not agreeing. I can agree that is a microphone. Is agreement thinking together?
Well, I think agreement is thinking together, but the converse is not necessarily so. Thinking together is not necessarily agreeing.
No, we are talking of thinking together. Yes. Thinking.
Isn't thinking together in the nature of inquiry, whereas agreement is arriving at a conclusion?
Yes, I agree that that's a green car. I agree the students are rather immature. Do you understand what I mean by thinking together? Is this...
Is thinking together then looking at something together, exploring a subject together?
No.
No?
No.
Krishnamurti, when we're talking in a staff meeting, and we're talking about a student, and each staff member says something they feel about that student, which is accurate, then I would say that's thinking together. We don't agree, but we're each looking from a different angle.
No. You are looking, say, there is the object. The object may be the student, and so on. We are not thinking together about the object. You understand?
Yes, but this seems to be going rather too far ahead. I don't know.
No. But it is very simple.
So it's a thinking together without something being
without the object.
Yeah.
Thinking together about something and thinking together is quite different. No?
Different quality.
Different quality, different. It has quite.
So you're saying thinking together is a disposition to think together.
So thinking together implies certain quality of affection, certain quality of sensitivity. But if we think about something, that's quite a different quality. No?
I think it's that we've been trained in. Actually.
What?
I think our training in thinking is to think about something and arrive at a conclusion. So you look at all the different things.
Now can you've made that statement. Now can you think with me or with all of us without the object? Gosh, what's it?
Krishnaji, can you say that this thinking can occur when we have our own prejudices?
No, sir. You can't be thinking together if you hold on to opinion and I hold on to my opinion. I mean, it's childish.
Why I say this? Because normally we tend to say that when we talk about a personality.
No, leave all that for the moment. I'm trying to differentiate between thinking together, thinking, and not thinking together about something. Is this difficult? Is this impossible? Am I making a statement which has no meaning? Question me, sir, doubt.
I think it's a difficult meaning in a sense, because it seems that thinking in a sense creates an object in its own process. Part of the process of thinking is to create objects in a way.
Yes. Now,
so the normal starting point, I mean, when we do talk about, it already begins with a conclusion in a way. The kind of thinking together you're talking, or the thinking you're talking about X, there's already a conclusion is involved in it.
It also seems to be very difficult to think without an object. I mean, how does one think at all about, how does one think without...
All right. Let's think about the object. Think together about something. Right? Think together why we hold on to our opinions. After all these years. Right? Now let's think about that together. Why? I'm sure you have a lot of opinions. You have them, right? And perhaps I have them. So each of us has many opinions, right? And we hold on to them, right? Therefore, we can't think together, right? Which indicates lack of affection.
Does that mean then that we may think together about an object as long as the object is not the important thing, but the together?
Yes. As long as the object is not important, we can all think together. But the moment it comes very close to us, now, please discuss with me.
Krishnaji, isn't it I don't understand, when you say thinking together, I'm not sure, how much thought is there in thinking together? together.
Look, you have got opinions, haven't you?
Yes.
You have stuck to them, haven't you?
Yes.
Why? We talked about this, holding on to opinions which are divisive, which create conflict for the last 5 years or 6 years, and yet you hold on to them.
Yes, but she said, Krishnamurti, just then, it's because she doesn't see that she has opinions.
No, well, I mean, sometimes one of the problems with opinion is it seems right, you see, and you don't know whether it's an opinion or not.
But perhaps the difficulty is
So the difficulty you see, facts and opinion.
Yes.
Now, what are facts?
Something that you can observe.
No, well, facts. That's a tree, that's a fact.
Yes.
You're sitting there, that's a fact. I'm sitting here, right? Facts are that which has happened before. Like I had an accident in a car, that's a fact, last week. Or a fact that we are sitting here, that's a fact. And opinion is something. Yes, you know what opinions are, must I explain that? Are facts opinions?
No, it's difficult.
Huh?
But
It's not as cut and dry as that.
It doesn't seem to work like that, you know.
See, there seems to be another area altogether. When we make a statement like as we did, killing is wrong, and taking life is wrong. See, now that seems to be.
Sir, don't go off to something, sir.
No, but it's important because this seems to be a false kind of simplification of what's going on.
Well, that's one reason probably why Krishnamurti avoided making that statement. He said something that was a fact, that conflict, that separation breeds conflict, not that killing is wrong. There's a subtle but important difference.
You have opinion, I have opinion, right? That's what we're talking about. We have talked about this, having opinions which is divisive for the last 5 years or more. And we still go on.
Seemingly, yes.
Why? Knowing it is divisive, it brings conflict. Why do we go on with it?
Well, in some sense it's necessary to have an opinion for the time being.
No. Don't. Wait a minute. Why should you have opinion for the time being?
Because we have to select students.
No.
Have to decide
There may
what
be
is
a
best
different
for them.
way of doing it.
Yes, but you see, in a sense, it doesn't seem to me, this perception may be wrong, it doesn't seem to me that it's also terrible to have opinions, provided the opinions are not something that you live by and that are deep-rooted.
Why do we have opinions at all?
Well, we do have them.
Why?
You see, Krishnamurti, isn't it to do with the nature of thinking that opinions come about? That's why I don't understand about thinking together, you see.
Please, wait a minute. Forget together. Why do we have opinions?
Well, isn't it in the nature of thought to come up with conclusions which are opinions?
There may be a different way of inviting students or discarding students without opinion. We stick to them and continue them. We don't find a new way of doing it. I don't know, you keep on repeating the same thing year after year.
Well, what is one to do about that?
Drop the blasted thing.
But you seem to be suggesting that it's possible to operate without opinions.
Absolutely.
And we seem to be suggesting that it's impossible.
Yes.
Now,
there we are.
Yes. Now, what is there that's not being seen? There seems to be something that is escaping our perception or our understanding. Why is this,
just
why
look
is
at
this
it, sir.
simple thing impossible to see?
Somebody says you can choose a student in a totally different way, not according to my prejudice or your appreciation or your opinion against mine, but we still go on that way.
But we do change our opinions about people, and we do it quite often.
I say, sir, you keep on repeating the damn thing.
No, but I'm trying to look at the process of what is going on. But what you're talking about is, to me, some imaginary process that never happens. I'm trying to talk about the process that actually goes on, what we actually do.
Goes on. We all know. You have a certain point of view, another has a certain point of view.
And we exchange.
We discuss, but at the end of it, whoever is the final authority chooses.
Not the final authority.
No, all right. I may disagree with all that you say, with all your choice of students, but I yield, but I stick to my point of view, right?
See, there seems to be another problem, Krishnaji. Even if we all decide to have the same opinion, and so we all agree, we're still operating out of opinion.
Yes.
So it's still not the exchange of opinion or the modification of opinion or the, that's still
Would you agree?
within the field of opinion.
Would you agree, sir? Opinions divide.
Yes, well, it's obvious that they divide, yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Now, what does that mean? A division, a process of conflict, modified, gentle, but it is conflict. Right? But you don't even try something else in all that share.
I think also when we listen to something, we immediately make a problem out of it.
Yes, sir.
But how are you even to make the simplest statement, like a statement you made a few minutes ago, these students are immature, or these students are
of course they are immature.
That's an opinion.
I mean, you make that sort of observation.
That's not an opinion. It is so.
By definition, a student is immature. I mean,
What's the matter with this?
The matter seems to be that it seems that quite some time ago we all agreed that opinions were divisive and that we don't want them, but we don't seem to know what else to do.
Krishnamurti, how would you select a student in a different way?
I'll tell you, but first...
I mean, or how would a student misbehave and you might have to leave the school? How do you decide without...
Sir, that can only take place if we drop opinions.
See, maybe we haven't put our fingers on the difference in quality between an observation and a conclusion that we get without looking. I mean, the one allows the possibility of cooperation. The other just breeds division.
Well, there seems to be observation going on as well, I would say.
Well, and also we are so full of opinions that whatever we listen, we make a problem, you see, so we never really see it.
When you say we are full of opinions, are we anything else but our opinions?
So why is it that we've gone into this question for 5 years at least?
And you're still there. And you're still there.
And it seems that I think most of us see it as a fact that we have opinions.
Well,
and
why not change the name of opinion and say guessing? Which is what you do when you don't know.
What?
Guessing.
Is it guessing? You only have
Tell
an
me.
opinion when you don't know about anything.
Yeah,
So you offer an opinion about it, which is guessing.
Yes, but you
It comes from the world of fantasy. It's part of our dreams.
Sir, would it be helpful to talk about the way we listen to what we say ourselves and the way we listen to what others say? To talk about listening.
I have nothing more to say.
Well, maybe we could look at the difficulty which Juan was bringing up, because on Sunday we were talking about learning. We were learning about something using.
You're not learning.
I know,
You're sticking.
because we're not. Perhaps we could. One thing we could question is when we say this is terribly difficult to do this. Are we just using our experience and not? Perhaps when we say that, it's actually an opinion that it is very difficult. Maybe we don't know what it is because we haven't tried it. And when we say it's difficult, we get stuck.
Just now, he made a statement, he quoted me, that the students are immature. That's a fact. Right?
Well, it's only it's a measure also.
No, it's a fact.
No, what are you measuring it against? They're immature they're immature if measured against older people, perhaps, in a certain sense.
Not necessarily. Some people might say we are immature.
Yes, we might be immature, but that is a form of measure also. And what are you measuring this immaturity against?
Against?
It's not an absolute
wait,
fact.
sir. Then we have to discuss what is maturity. Right? Right? I'll tell you what is maturity. But that doesn't lead anywhere.
Very few statements are going to stand up to a complete analysis of every word used.
No, but if we listen without our opinions, then we will understand what the person means when the word immaturity is used. So if we listen without our opinions, then it's clear how the word is being used.
Krishnamurti, supposing you said a Mercedes is the best car in the world, is that an opinion?
Yes.
We've been through this one before.
Well, I want to get
Just a minute.
But then what's wrong with your saying that?
No, wait. I talked to, say for instance, half a dozen people who own Rolls Royces. I don't know. And lots of people who own Mercedes. Both are good engineers. Not merely. And these engineers, I've heard several of them discuss this as a matter of fact, they say Mercedes engineering is far better than the Rolls Royce. They say that. I know nothing about engineering. So I say perhaps it is. Because these people who are experts in engineering, in building cars, say Mercedes is the best. I say it's the best. And you come along and say, no, sorry. Porsche is the best.
Yes.
I say, all right. But I don't stick to say, keep on repeating, say the.
But Steve said earlier that if you state an opinion, you say Mercedes is best, and then you put it into the melting pot, and then you let it go. Say I talk to you, I say, look, I've spoken to this engineer, and they all say that Porsche is a better gearbox.
All right.
So then
I don't.
But then in that case, what Steve is saying, and I agree with him, that to have an opinion, but to drop the opinion, to be able to have an opinion and listen to what other people say.
Yes, I say, I don't care. I'm not buying any car. I don't care, all right.
So is it dangerous to have opinions held lightly? You see, you were saying before that we shouldn't have opinions at all.
Because you said, why have opinions at all?
That's what I'm asking. You haven't answered my question.
Well, I asked you, why have an opinion about
I have no opinion of Mercedes or Rolls Royce.
But you said
yes, sir, I said that. But I say I'm totally indifferent to it.
I think it's the quality of a statement rather than, whether it's an opinion or not. I mean, if Krishnamurti says, the students are immature, he's not sticking by it, and he's not going to fight about it.
I give up. So, what is our difficulty?
I think the difficulty is quite obvious. We sort of stick by our statements, which turn into an opinion. We make a statement, and it becomes an opinion, and we stick by it.
Well, that's not what was being said before. I mean, I would tend to agree with you, but that's not what's being said. I mean, it seems to be being said that any statement almost is a form of opinion, and therefore...
No. But you see, we have been talking 45 minutes, you see, and it seems that the 45 minutes has been...
Yes, sir, this happens. I know this.
But Shakuntala just said that it's the quality in a way, the way you're holding that opinion. Or if you're holding that opinion...
It isn't an opinion, then. If the quality is there, then it isn't an opinion.
We don't want to just argue about words. I mean, I feel...
But are we even got that opinion?
Are we agreed that it is a question of the quality?
But you see why we should make a problem of something that might be very simple. You see, I make a statement, and then you come in and make a problem out of it. You see. Why is that?
Is the difficulty that we identify with certain things that we say, simply? That we identify with certain things that we say? We see things, we feel that we understand something, we make a statement. Now, do I identify with that statement?
Could we approach this question differently? Can your brain, one's brain, be free? Instead of whirling around like this, as we are doing. Right? I'm just asking. I'm not saying it cannot. And if you are free, Mr. Jenkins makes a statement, doesn't matter about something or other. Will I listen out of that freedom? You understand what I mean? Don't make a problem of it. You are free. Your mind is not, for the few minutes, is quiet. And I make a statement. And will you listen to that statement in that quality of brain which is quiet? Right? Will you?
Yes.
Right. What happens then? See what happens.
I move very quickly.
Yes.
And there's contact between you two.
Do it, sir. You are free for the moment, right? I hope.
Yes.
And then I make a statement that we all must think together, which is an extraordinary phenomenon. Right?
Yes.
How do you receive that statement?
Well, that one's quite...
Just watch it, sir. Watch it for a minute. Then from your freedom, you are beginning to inquire into this statement. Right? Inquiry means that there must be freedom to penetrate. Right? Will you do that? You understand my question?
Yes, I understand.
Why can't we do that?
Well, I would say that
And keep it simple. Why can't we do it? See what actually takes place when you are free, not rattling around saying you're right, you're wrong. Why shouldn't I have opinions? Why should I have just for a few minutes free, and he makes a statement. Let's think together. How do you approach that question from that freedom?
I would think there's immediate understanding and energy.
Which means what, sir? Do you understand my... Can we do this?
It seems to involve both a setting aside of any conclusions I might have, but also...
Just be free for a few minutes.
It's a dropping of barriers.
No, don't complicate it. Oh, sir? Now, I may be making a wrong statement. Don't jump on the statement. You're free for the moment. I say to you, the older students, I may be wrong when saying, are making the newcomers follow their old pattern. You see? Making the newcomers follow the pattern which they have set. And I would like you to prevent that. How do you respond to that? Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
How do you respond to it?
I want to do it too.
Huh?
I want to do it too.
No. You're free for the moment. And I make that statement. Right? Do we all of us want to do it? Or you want to do it your way? And so on. You see that?
Well, it seems very simple.
That's all, sir. That's all I'm saying. Jenkins, what do you say to that? You understand? You are, for a few minutes, quiet. No thought, just quiet. I come along and make a statement about students. How do you, what happens? You say, yes, we must do together, right? So, can we all be free for that? I don't know if you understand what
So yes, that we're all free to listen.
That's all, sir.
There is no place for discussion. So.
No, you have already acted. You're acting. Huh?
So that does presuppose that we are all quiet. In the
What?
That does presuppose that we are all quiet when you say that.
I don't know. I'm asking if you're quiet. I don't know if you're quiet. Who am I to judge anybody? I say, look, there may be a different way of dealing with the whole thing. Approach the problem from freedom. If I say to my wife, I love you, let's do things together. There's no problem. Right? Right. She doesn't say, no. Right? Is that what is lacking? My wife and I are responsible to keep the house clean. I like her, she likes me, affectionate. We love each other. Where is the problem? What do you say to this? What do you say to this, sir?
It's difficult to say anything, Krishnamurti.
Huh?
It's difficult to say anything.
No. Do we have such affection here? Let's forget about the Mercedes, Rolls Royce, opinions and all the rest of it. Do we have this feeling?
No, we have it only for a few.
With me?
No, only for a few, for some people.
No. We are all responsible for those children.
Yes.
Not you alone and I am alone. We are all responsible for those children. That responsibility demands that we act together. Right? To act together, there must be certain affection between us. Certain quality of trusting each other. If I love my wife, I trust her. Unless she says, I'm going off with another man, then it's a different matter. Do you know the Italian proverb?
Italian what? Which one?
Fidarsi è bene, meglio non fidarsi.
Can you translate?
Which means good to trust, but better not to trust. Sorry, that's a joke.
Krishnamurti, are you asking us to love together or to think together?
Huh?
Are you asking us to love together or to think together?
When there is affection, love, you think together. My wife and I, who have lived together, all kinds of trouble, sex and all that, we love each other. And therefore, there is no problem. I don't say it's my opinion again, she says my. I say, let's talk together, let's get it over. Is that the problem? Now, if you have that affection, love better, how would you choose a student? Or discard a student? You have quite a different, I don't know if you follow this.
These things would be easy.
Yes, sir. I'm not putting a blanket over all of you not to think, but I'm just asking, why do we have these terrible divisions? We have been in this house for so many years. And yet there is a great deal of division amongst ourselves, right? Right?
Yes.
Would you agree to that? Am I?
Actually, it's news to me.
Huh?
It's news to me. I didn't know there was such division.
All right. They say yes. You may say no.
No,
You don't know.
I don't know.
So there it is. You don't know, they know. There is division.
Now,
Look at it, sir, look at it. It's a division.
No, well, I don't feel
It doesn't matter. I know, you don't know. I am the guru and you're not the guru. It means a division.
Yes, that's a division.
So let's put it around the other way. There is certain division amongst us all.
Well, I'm surprised. I don't feel this.
All right, sir.
Maybe you're correct. Maybe there is division.
Well, would you agree, Frank, that there's a lack of affection amongst us all?
I wouldn't make such a statement, no.
Frank, if somebody asked you to come and have a chat, and you never had one before, and you keep putting it off and putting it off, isn't that division? No? No?
You're a lucky chap.
But the person who keeps asking you thinks it's division, so how do you meet?
Well, I can tell you, I'm quite busy. I'll try and come and see you.
That's not the point. We're talking about division.
I'm busy, I don't see.
What? No. We've been trying to meet together
Yes, I'm really joking. Can we have, all of us, this affection? Right? Then there is no problem. What?
I don't feel I can say anything, because if we say something now, we're just going to get into...
No. Have you got that affection? You can question. We talked about the other day the art of questioning. Have I?
Well, I know often I don't, because I'm
Huh?
too concerned with myself. I said I know often I don't, because I'm too concerned with myself.
So, that may be one of our difficulties. Perhaps the major difficulty. Sometimes I have, sometimes I haven't. The sometimes is when we all meet.
Well, even when we don't all meet, I mean, can we find out why we haven't got it? Because obvious, we do trust some people more than others, and why should that be so? We can be very frank and open and lay ourselves open to one person and not to another.
Affection is affection. It's not, I love my wife and I hate everybody else.
That's true, Krishnamurti, but why is it that, just to pull a name out of my hat, I could say something about myself to Ramanse and I'd feel nervous just saying it to Stephen.
No, but
because I don't trust them.
That is not, I may talk to Mrs. D most carefully. I may not talk to him. I'm sorry, I'm just making an example. But what's wrong with it? As long as I have this affection, I can, you see, you're making it all so difficult.
Sir, but you're really talking about, I think we have a sort of affection, but we really have a limited, and you're talking about an affection which is quite different, and really it can't be cultivated.
Affection, if you have affection, is not limited.
Yes, that's what I mean. And we are saying that you're talking about a different kind of affection from, and
Look, Shakuntalaji, if you have affection and I have affection, you know, quality of it, and we have to, a student comes to us, you have to discard or accept. What happens then between us?
something quite different happens.
Do it, show it. If all of us had that affection, and a student comes on, you know the rest of it, what is our relationship? Is this all new? Or we are affectionate, but we have not given enough time for it to flower. Because we're crowding by all problems, questions. You follow what I mean?
that's probably more it.
Yes.
Huh?
I think that's more it. I mean, I don't think anybody in here is not
Then
affectionate.
why don't we find time? Or does it require time?
Well, if it requires time, it would be limited.
Yeah.
May I ask a question? The older students are influencing the younger, new students. Either bad or good. I'm just saying, how do you prevent this?
I think there's less of that this year than any other year I've seen. This is happening less this year than any other year I have seen. And it appears to me one of the factors in it is that the staff are spending much more time with the students this year than previous years.
Oh.
And also because the new students have so much energy of their own, the old students don't know quite what to make of it.
But I think it is happening, Krishnaji. I agree with you.
I saw a certain thing that was happening with some newer students.
How do you prevent this happening?
Well, I mentioned it to an older student, and he was surprised and he saw it. It hadn't occurred to him that this was what he was doing.
Some of the new students are extraordinarily bright, most friendly, you follow? And it's going to gradually.
Is it going to gradually?
Huh?
Is it going to gradually?
It looks, unless we do something, it would. Right?
But it's really up to us as the staff,
That's what I'm
not the
asking.
students.
You see, the more time they spend by themselves, the more likelihood they are going to talk between themselves about it, and it'll generate. But the more time we are with them and sharing everything with them, the less likelihood that is to happen.
We would be extraordinary body of people if this kind of quality existed. I've been to many monasteries. I've met many, many, many monks. European monasteries where the abbot rules, get up 2 o'clock in the morning. I've done part of that. And prayers, you follow? And the affection has gone long ago out of the window. They love Jesus. Can we all do this thing together? Can we all have such affection that you follow? Then there is no problem.
without it, we will also influence the new students,
Yes,
the
sir.
old students.
Yes, sir. The whole thing will change. If I may most respectfully beg of you to keep this thing. You say, it never has happened before if you can do this. A whole group of people. Right?
Swamiji, we say this has never happened before. Do you really think so? This has never
Yes, sir.
happened?
Yes, sir.
But why do you say this? Why do?
Historically, there are many teachers, religious teachers, right?
Yeah.
They are disciples.
Mm-hmm.
They worship the teacher,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They had affection for him, adored him, devoted to him, did whatever he wanted. This is historical.
Yeah.
But the moment he died, they began to quarrel.
And so, what you're asking is, can a group of people, non-dependent on one person,
Yes.
Work together?
Affection means there is no authority.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Affection. You're not more affectionate, and therefore you don't become the authority. Affection. Kind of trust, kind of a love. For a group, you understand, without a leader, without somebody on top of them to tell them you must love. The other day, in America there are 13 channels on television. 13. You can choose whatever you want. And on channel 10, there's a religious channel. And one of the evangelists, who is most extraordinary, I won't go into all that, he said, we must love Jesus. Give your heart to Jesus. Welcome him and hold him in your heart. And this is repeated ad nauseam for thousands of millions of people. Day after day, day after day. Right? and they're ready to kill each other. One is a Baptist, one is... Oh, so that's why I say it has never happened before. In a family, there is always dissension, right? It's common. And there's never been real affection in that family. Right? If I have this family, all of you, I say, please, let's all be affected, don't quarrel. You follow? Let's be happy together. Well, I've said enough.
It's past 1 o'clock.
Huh?
It's past 1 o'clock. Shall we meet the
Up
students?
to you.
Might be best for the students.
Huh?
Might be best for the
Yes.
students. They'll be waiting.
C'est tabou. Fidarsi è bene. Non fidarsi è meglio.